You two beautiful creatures. I'm looking for my dog, my co-host, my sidekick, my stunt double.
Good
Why
morning.
can't I see you, JJ? Whoa.
I can see you, JJ.
I can see him.
Oh, well then giddy up. We're good.
You can't see me, Sean?
Sure, I had to go into full screen mode. I guess I was on 2-screen mode and
Oh, we could move it.
okay, go. Okay.
But then
Come in.
Can't see us.
Awesome. Well, you know, we're actually already starting our recording, so we might
Oh, settle down.
as well just go ahead and get started. You know, everybody out there, welcome to the Kong Family Show. We here in the Kong family, we just have ourselves a real simple goal that you know, what's cool about this goal is that we're actually accomplishing it. It's happening. And you know, it's a very rewarding goal. And our goal is simple. We just want to change the world. And we're doing that how, Sean?
One glass of 9.5 at a time.
Yeah. So thank you so much, you guys, for jumping on the show today. And I'm really happy that you took Sean's invitation to come in here, and I was looking real disappointed. Over to Sean and let him share the show, give some good info out, gives people some value.
Oh, much obliged there, JJ Surprise. Just getting down on it like Cool in the Gang right away. Can't even get a cop or feel it all. Just getting after it. Hey, so yeah, I have two of my favorite adventurers on the show this morning. Started out by way of Montana a couple years back, and as I moved westbound, they moved out east into the Dakotas for a minute and a spell, and now they're down rocking Arizona while we've been freezing our tails up here. So there's a little method to their madness. I'd like to introduce the lovely Alexis Rankin and the awesomeness of Mr. Silbs Silbernagel. Welcome to the show, kids.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Nice.
Love the saguaros in the background. That's one thing I love about Arizona.
Those are actually fake, JJ.
No, are they?
Just kidding. No, those are the real deal, man.
I was going to say, you look like you're sitting amongst the cacti.
We are, man.
Well, those ocotillos kind of gave it away. You know, it's like, I know that's got to be real because I can see the ocotillos as well. So I go, oh, that's real. You guys got something super going on there in your background.
I'm actually going to play golf at Ocotillo Golf Club this afternoon.
Awesome.
I gotta get down there, man. I gotta come check you guys out before things get too crazy summer wise. Are you guys staying down there for this? You guys are you rocking it like Herbie Hancock down in Arizona for a spell now?
We're planning on potentially going back up north for the heat for the summer months.
Yeah, so you guys are just young snowbirds, man. That is bad apples. I love it. So yeah, really glad to have you guys on the show. I know we've been talking recently about just the direction you guys are going, and you know, I know Alexis has done a real good job dialing into some family and some close people in her life that need this technology out of the gate, and now it seems like you guys kind of got a broader vision going on. But give me an idea. I mean, give everybody else an idea, I guess, maybe about your story a little bit. You know, you go from where you went, from the initial introduction and understanding of it, and you know, it's something we all kind of seem to have the similar story, but it's always refreshing. It's always good to hear our guests kind of, you know, briefly summarize as much as you want, just kind of how you got rolling with the thing, and you know, when the lights turned on, and just kind of go from there if you would.
Well, I mean, as you know, Sean, and to everybody else, we met each other, a decade ago now, something like that. Yeah. And I think you realized that I was open to, you know, this technology and appreciated what you had going on, and you started sharing water with me. You know, it had to have been 2009, 2010, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
You know, just kind of kept it at that. It got some from him from time to time, and fast forward to when I met Alexis about 3 years ago. I, of course, hadn't bought a machine yet, you know, and we were just chatting, and she was talking about how she used to put these alkaline drops that she got from a health food store in her water. You know, she was looking for the Kangen machine, but she didn't know that it existed.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, the bro wets. He's got the water, wet cell, man. And when I told her all about the machine, her eyes were bugging out, and she's like, I have to get this machine right now. So I mean, within the next couple of days, it was on order. The SD Platinum, and it was pretty new on the scene, and we just started chugging, man. That's been 3 years ago, and you know, probably the best decision we've ever made in our lives. Now we have the K8, and her sister has the SD 501 Platinum in her veterinary practice out in western Nebraska. So we're touching lives, and we're moving forward, man.
No, that's
exactly
beautiful.
what I'm talking about when I say we're changing the world, because that's exactly how we're doing it. One person, one glass at a time. And so that's awesome. So happy to hear that you guys are part of the changing of the world mechanism, baby. We got Kong's water.
Yeah, Kong's water. I guess I didn't really give them too much of a preface. Because the machine says Kangen water, my beautiful brother from Sandy, Utardia, came up with the moniker Kong's water, and the big old gorilla came into play. You got to tell him your deal, dude. You got to just give him a quick little Kong description.
People ask me all the time why I call it Kong's water, and I always tell them the same thing. I tell them, hey, what do you think? How do you think that gorilla got so big? He's out there in the jungle sticking his head down at the bottom of the waterfall, drinking right out of the waterfall. That's Kong's water right there, baby. That's nature's Kong's water, and that's what. And then plus that beautiful lady that's in the machine, she doesn't say Kangen water 9.5. She says Kangen water 9.5.
What's up with that, man? It's always Kangen or Kangen, or, you know, it's pretty clear that they say Kangen water 9.5, you know?
Right,
I mean,
right.
Listen to the beautiful lady.
You're on the right track.
Yeah, and she's got that 1-900 phone voice, from what I've been told, and it sounds so lovely. Nice. I thought you guys would check out that. Yeah. So yeah, man. You know, that's huge. And you know, I remember sitting down in that little restaurant. Where did we go eat? What was that little Mexican joint that had all the HoooDeeeHoooooo going on, the live band, and
Rio Sabinas.
Yeah, we were out there rocking it. Yeah, and Alexis had tons of questions, and yeah, I did everything I could to keep up with them. I always kind of dug the whole horse thing. You know, we had Gerald Costiga on yesterday, and he's been a real guy. He's been really proficient at you know, figuring out the comparisons between ionizers on the planet, and then just how it works for, you know, in an eco-friendly capacity for athletes and restaurants, and how, you know, he's put together all these publications, which I'm sure you guys have seen and have at this point. But he came up with one yesterday, and it totally made me think of you guys, and we'd actually even talked, Silbs, before then. But I always, when I read that, I thought of like the several good baker's dozen people that I know that really had a vested interest in what this water could do for their pets, and, you know, and their horses and their animals that they were very, you know, that they coveted very highly. And I remember Alexis talking about their horses a little bit and stuff, and, you know, that intrigued me, and just to see, you know, you guys down that way, digging it. Do you know a lot of people down there? Was it kind of a random move, or did you guys kind of have it identified when you went down there?
I think this water gave us intuition as to we need to get down south. I mean, look at the winter you guys have been messing with. It's been brutal. People are flooded out. It's a nightmare, man. And look at us. We're out here in the sun enjoying our lives, and we've determined that we're non-conformists. We don't conform to societal norms, man. We're going to do what we want to do. This machine's going to give us, you know, an opportunity to have some freedom. You know that as well as anybody. Wes, you go where you want, when you want, man. It's your business is mingling with the masses, and that's what's up. That's what we are. That's our intentions. Is we're going to start communicating at a high level. I mean, we're sharing countless gallons of water down here right now, and the floodgates are getting ready to explode, man. It's
nice.
Beautiful. We got marketing materials. We have some ideas that we're going to pursue, and yeah, we just want to be independent. Our most precious asset is our time. So we want to be with each other as much as we can. And communicate that. We've been talking about how we firmly believe there's going to be some form of there's going to be some form of Kangen machine on every countertop in this country at some point, and the place is here. The time is now.
No, that's it. It's funny you say that, because I was talking with Gerald the other night, and yesterday, I was trying to lead him into the first Monday of every month. Kangen One Global goes and takes over. Like the PH Alliance does a lot of Mondays. With Siha, and those guys are fantastic. But come the first Monday of the month, Dee McCauley and Kostica have been behind this global webinar for the last several years. And on the beginning of Mondays, I've sat here and I've tried to weigh out the number of people and whatever, and these guys really narrowed it down to the residences in this country and how many of these things are in them. And I basically, Dee McCauley said that there's 137 million documented census-oriented residences in this country. With your 3 point whatever million people or whatever, or 3 point or 1, 2 point whatever per household is what I'm trying to say. Oh. And right. And there's only 480,000 machines in domestic places in the United States. And doing the math, that's between like 1/3 and 1/2 of 1%. So, I feel blessed. I wish I'd have totally figured it out earlier. I totally had no inclination of the business plan as I started, but, seeing you guys getting rolling and understanding the leverage you're using between each other took me 50 machines it took me almost 100 machines before we figured out to get Kimmy one. At the time, and it was just crazy. So I really love the leverage. I love the focus. And again, the timing's pretty solid, wouldn't you say? Have you run into too many people down there with the technology or that are familiar with it, or?
I mean, there's a good community down here, I believe. Anytime we go out in public, we mention it at some capacity, and it's surprising and awesome how often people are familiar with it. It's a fraction of the population. But I wanted to touch on something else that I thought of when you were talking earlier about the animals and what have you, right?
Please.
And we're definitely wanting to pursue that, and getting it in, feeding livestock with it. I'm sure the quality of the produce is going to be amazing, changed by the water in and of itself. But what I was getting at is we were talking about all these different waters that come out, and when something's appealing to an individual, it's good to have a nice variety and figure out which one of those waters is most appealing to them. Like some people are just freaking out because of the beauty water in and of itself. Alexis whips out her little Kangen spray device and starts spraying 5.5 on her face in the middle of the restaurant or whatever.
Guilty.
People love that stuff, man, and it's just what's most important to you. Are you sick of having chemicals under your sink all day? I mean, why don't you save that open space for something more worthwhile and just use some 2.5 and clean, So
yeah, no, that's it. And it's funny, I totally identify with that, but obviously the beauty waters work wonders for her as opposed to myself, because it still ain't doing much for this grill right here, but I feel good. I feel fresh. My skin is taut. And no, I've got buddies of mine that just look at me like, dude, what in the world are you doing? And I'm like, I'm freshening up, dude. I'm moisturizing the pores, or I've got the 2.5 at a restaurant.
Just came out of a machine in my house that I have limitless supply of. Meanwhile, people concerned with exactly what you're saying, having top skin on their face, they're lining up at Estee Lauder and all those other places and getting
Clinique.
basically the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's in cream form and they rub it on their face. You know, we can just spray it on there and pow, right?
That's it. That's it. You know, and even listen, I tell you, you're beautiful, man. Your story. Give us a quick little rundown of like your personal experience with the water and just how it kind of jived. I know we were kind of back and forth, kind of dancing, kind of flirting, weren't quite sure, but we were always kind of there, you know. And then when you started to really get after it, you started to crush it. I remember you kind of giving me an idea, just like, you know, what in the world, something's going on here. Can you share a little of that with us? Because I swear you look younger than you did 3 years ago. Not that you looked old, but, you know, you just look like you're going backwards, brother. You look like you're ready to get off this interview and go drop 20 on a guy on the court down there somewhere.
Something like that, man. You know what, Wes? I've always been on the go, even when I was heavier, man. I've been a mover and a shaker, you know, literally back in the day. But that being said, I love to move, and I love the I mean, I posted on Facebook the other day about this is my energy drink, man. You chug. I sat in one sitting and chugged 3/4 of a gallon at work. You know, I didn't get enough of it early on in the day, so I chugged this 3/4 of a gallon, and I felt like I drank 2-3 Red Bulls, man. You know, I mean, not that jittery energy, but that rock
sustained,
you know, and it's just everything, man. And so, you know, I used to be about 270, you know, and I'm about 220 now. So it's the water. It's making me want to eat better. You know, I mean, if I'm doing all this good with this water, it's you know, makes me want to throw a couple spinach leaves down the gullet every once in a while. You know? And
that's it.
So,
Hey, I've got a little quick question in regards to you drinking that much water all at once. Mm-hmm. Did you drink all that water all at once?
Absolutely.
That's one of the interesting things that I've found about this, because I've literally drank like a full 32-ounce Nalgene container all at once, and that's for me. I'm like 5'5", 150, and that's a lot of water for me to chug down, you know. But the thing I noticed is it was like, man, there's nothing flowing, nothing's hopping around in the stomach. How about you? What was your situation there?
Never, you know, some candor here. I mean, if I'm not urinating clear, I need to be chugging this water. That's the mentality that I personally have. Think about all the guys, you know, along those candor type of lines. Think about all the people who have no problem chugging down a 12-pack of beer. People do it all the time. That's over a gallon of beer, dude. That's a gallon of beer. Why can't you drink, you know, I can't drink a gallon of water. That's crazy. Dude, you can drink 2 gallons of water, man. You could easy. You know, I mean, if you put your mind to it, and this stuff tastes so amazing, it just flows down. You know, I could drink 44 ounces. I drink them in these 22-ounce, and I like to drink it out of glass. It tastes better out of glass, and I like to just, you know, just like they say, man, it's most alive right out of the machine. So boom, I mean, chug 44. It's like nobody's biz, dude, and just go hammer it, you know.
So when you drink that much water, did you feel it sloshing around in your stomach at all? Or?
Never. I mean, it absorbs. Alexis says she heard something, and you know, some video or what have you about how it gets absorbed into the esophagus, like the majority of it before it even makes it to your gut. You know, I mean, it's just yeah, exactly. I mean, if you drink it cold, you could feel it you could feel your skin getting a little cooler. You know, I get a little bit of a chill if you just chug it down. But
you know, I've found that I tell people all the time that when you drink this water, especially when you drink the 11.5, like if you want to go to sleep and get a really good night's sleep, I drink it all the time before I go to bed. It literally gets to your brain before it gets to your stomach.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
And speaking of that, I mean, having a couple brews, you know, I mean, drink a half glass. I mean, I have no problem. It doesn't mess with my gut at all. Drinking a 8-10 ounce glass of 11.5, man, and you know, we tout it as hangover water. You know, I mean, if you're drinking brews, you drink a little 11-5, man, it changes things. It really does. Or, you know, you feel a little bit of an ailment coming on, you got achy joints, chug a little 11-5, man. You're brand new. I mean, this is the real deal, man. It's not throwing
viscosity.
pills down your gut. It's the fountain of youth and health and wealth, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
No, that's what I find. I find it's like, you know, we've been so indoctrinated. And I think there's awakening taking place on a lot of levels, man. And, you know, you could break it down to just different respective dimensions of our society today. And I think it's getting almost crazier before we're going to find any normalcy again. It's almost, you know, I say it gets worse before it gets better. But in the process of just like where we are, I just really think that people are starting to understand. When I can tell somebody that, look, for the first 2 years, and this is Nesty 501. I haven't done the math on the K8 yet, but this is diggable planets, man, because they're cool like that. $5.45 a day for the first 2 years, 730 days. If you just mathematically looked at, what do I drop on a daily basis for beverages, this, that, and the other? After that 2 years is over, you're the next 23 plus years, you're not paying anything. And I'm trying to help people understand that. And that language is starting to work a little bit in terms of, you know, hey, because again, there's so many people out there that need this and you can't beat them over the head with it. You know, it's just you want to because you love and care about them. But you can't, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't dunk their head in. So, you know, it's like, I believe there's an awakening taking place. And I love your guys' energy. I love your guys' you know, focus and just, you know, just how you're down there now, and that's kind of your mission. And, you know, I want to do anything and everything I can to facilitate whatever I can for and with you guys. Because I hadn't really figured out the business side of it. You know, I'm that kumbaya white boy, man. I got into counseling. I love building and helping people. I'm a big relationship builder. I figure the more I understand about you, the more I can relate and figure out a way to compliment you. That's just how I've always kind of been, you know what I mean? And sometimes it gets in the way in the business world, but I really think that we're at a crux where that 0.5% that we're knocking on, you know, within the next 2 to 5 years could go, you know, to 2%, which might not seem a lot, but at the end of the day, that's life-changing machines and money for anybody out there sharing at this foundation laying stage. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you're a businessman. I always got a kick out of listening to you. And, you know, this guy's, he's been in sales. Silbs has forgotten more about sales than I ever even understood, you know. And so, I mean, that's the part that kind of, you know, share a little bit about your perspective on that, would you, bud? Because it's just kind of having some of our conversations and just putting everything together that's got me thinking like this now, all these years later, almost 500 machines, and I'm only a 6A. I mean, I literally could be a 6A2-2 if I'd have figured out what I was doing. But I'm coming. You know, give me your thoughts on that if you would.
You know, I want to figure it out as well, the best plan of action, but you can't predetermine who's going to produce at what level and so on and so forth. And you could make a guess at it and you know,
yeah,
judging from, you know, where they are foundationally. But yeah, the business and sales background, you know, bachelor's degree in American Indian Studies, master's degree in business, you know, and I'm starting to realize that's, you know, I learned a lot, but I probably could have learned everything I learned paying tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. I probably could have learned every last bit of that stuff if I would have just taken initiative and read the books on my own. You know, so I mean that's a tough pill to swallow in recent times. But as far as the sales is concerned, I've earned my living selling at various capacities in my life. You know, I've recently, what took me to South Dakota, like you mentioned before, took us to South Dakota, was this teaching gig at Black Hills State, teaching Native American Studies. You know, I mean, just have a lot of different things that I've done. A lot of it's been sales, and you talk about relationship building, man. I mean, you know, I travel so much. I've been been so many places. I know so many people from all around. It's so. I mean, I'm down here in Arizona. I'm slinging campers at Camping World right now. That's how I'm my main gig right now. And everybody who walks through the door, I'll have something in common with them. That, I mean, you want to talk about 7 steps to Kevin Bacon? There's probably about 2 or 3 steps to Silbs, man. Because I right then and there, you know, find somebody out there who they know, or you're from this part. Everybody from all the snowbirds are from the Dakotas, Minnesota. Right. Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming. So, I mean, I know somebody everywhere there. So the common ground, the rapport building, it's there, man. It's just, and now I've determined to change that focus to this machine that you don't even have to sell it, and you don't even have to try to close people. It's just, this is the water. It makes you healthier than you were before. It provides your body the environment to heal itself like the body's supposed to do. We're inundated with all kinds of chemicals topically in the environment and what we eat and so on and so forth. It's you know, this reverses some of that, man. It reverses a lot of it. I know it. I feel it every single day. I feel as healthy and strong as I ever have. You know, I feel stronger and healthier than I did 20 years ago. It's beautiful, man. You know, I was kind of a sick. You know, I mean, I'm a native, and you know, that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as, you know, the diet that I experienced growing up, the commodities, the you know, the cheap food, 6 kids to feed, that whole kind of deal. That shit is impactful. Sorry about that. That stuff is impactful, and you know, I don't know. It's just it's this water is the truth, and it's foundationally what's making myself healthier, Alexis healthier. We were joking around. We were gonna have Tatanka, our little pup here. That's all he's ever drank is Kong in his whole life, man, and he's fit as a fiddle, you know. So
nice.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you don't have to sit there and hound family and friends about it. You know, you drink water. What do? You know, I sell medical grade water. What the heck's medical grade water? You know, we had this lady yesterday or a couple days ago, terribly unhealthy. We were having a discussion with her, and she's like, "Is there a button you can push to add flavor to the water?" Meanwhile, we're sitting at coffee, and she's shoveling Twixes down her throat at 10 o'clock in the morning. You know, and then her husband, in the next breath, says, "I can't eat broccoli. It thickens my blood." So, I mean, there's all kinds out there, and I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's funny too, dude, is you kind of hit on something. I actually so we also talked yesterday a little bit about how I'll get them on this water, and of all my machines, I've had 7 people mysteriously disappear over the years for like up to a month to like 3 months, and not being too pressury. I made a couple calls and a couple emails and didn't get anything back, so I let it slide, only for like a matter of time for them to call me back and say that they backdoored me on another technology and went with a Life or a Jupiter. And one of the gals called me. She was so frustrated, and she's a rancher down in Cheyenne, Wyoming, or Casper, Wyoming. Well, she got one for their house, and she got one for this like $200,000 RV that they have, that they just travel around, and it just sits in there. And I was like, well, yeah, Mariah Carey did the same thing, and this girl's so country. She says, Mariah who? You know, but, you know, that's the thing, you know, working at Campers World or whatever, that's bad apples, man. You know, being able to tell people they can throw that right on their sink there. You know, you could probably even wire an under-the-counter unit under there, if I'm not mistaken. I've never thought about that, but no, that's just cool to kind of the double whammy. I wasn't realizing you were doing that. And that's got to be a huge market down there for that as well, too, huh?
Yeah, it's been serving me well. It's definitely honed up my sales skills. It's taught me a few things, Wets. It's taught me that I don't want a job that word job is, you know, an acronym for just over broke, and
Amen.
making money for somebody else all the time. And it's just, you know, my second month there, I was top dog, and I didn't make the money I wanted to make, man. You know, and I'm done making money for other people. You know, I mean, as far as like that whole traditional
Sure.
hustling to hurry up and get ready, rush to work, you know, missing all the time out with my lady, you know, it's just
Getting paid a fraction of what you feel you're worth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 50-hour gig a week, you know, and it's just, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth the commute and all that BS. I'd rather do what I want with my time, which is our most precious asset, like I mentioned earlier. And you know, like I said, you know, we have some marketing materials. I'll be full time in this within the next 30 days is about where I'm going to be, you know, maybe 1st of May. So.
Oh, God bless you, man. That's badass. Look, we can say that on here. We get a little frisky sometimes. Gerald used a word yesterday that we appreciated in the male anatomy capacity, but it was used in a little more cynical, well, the negative type of person capacity. So yeah, no worries there. But yeah, I think it's just exceptional that you guys have found that. I'm absolutely envious and kind of living vicariously through you right now. I'm kind of posted up here in the root, you know, on purpose, and work juggling some other things there. But I tell you, when I find my window, I'm looking at maybe doing something of the similar nature. I've even always had this fantasy that I buy a school bus, have one of my native artists just touch that thing up tag style, and put a Kangen on it and maybe some murals and some whatever, and then hit the road. Just travel around and post up at different places. You know, that's always been something I've wanted to do, even before Kangen, you know, even before this business. I always thought it'd be cool to travel around, but to have something like this that you can make money with by not just selling something either, by literally changing people's lives. You know, I think that's really cool. So you guys are a real inspiration in that regard, man. And what do you got there?
You put this guy on there. See him?
Throw that on the van. Kong's water. How does he make that? Does he squeeze that container to fire that water into his gullet like that?
He ionizes it while he's squeezing it, right?
Yeah, you know it. You know it.
You got it. You see his lightning bolt in his hand there. It is one hand. He's got a lightning bolt.
Did you have that made by Enagic, or did you have a local company do it? Or that's pretty sweet.
I have a good friend who is a computer magician, and he built that whole thing for me. We kind of talked about it. I told him what he wanted or what I wanted, and he came up with that. And I was like, Sean's gonna have his bus painted up. It's got to have Kong on the side of it.
Yeah, you got to have it on there somewhere, at least back by the license plate or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know, I've got a question for you, Alexis. What you said at the beginning is that you were using alkaline drops or something like that, because obviously you had already learned that having alkaline water was probably better for you. I'm assuming that that's what you were thinking. And so you were drinking water with alkaline drops in it and that kind of stuff. And then along comes Kong. Can you elaborate a little bit on what the difference was for you between the two? What happened in your experience with it that, makes you so passionate about it?
Sure. Well, when I tried those drops, I was experiencing a lot of pain. I was working in the ICU and as a nurse, and I was spiking a lot of IV bags. My hands were hurting so bad I could hardly spike a bag. So I went to this nutrition store, and the nutritionist there recommended these drops by Dr. Young is his name. I still remember. Anyway, he said you might not be able to get these drops for very long because the guy is going to jail over some lawsuit, which has something to do with the FDA, of course. But anyway, I instantly, within a week, that pain was gone. And but I just wasn't sure about the drops. I wasn't sure about how many to take. I wasn't sure, if it was really good for me or what. So it kind of left me confused, and I tried to do some research, and there wasn't much out there at the time. And, you know, this was like 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so that was when I lived in Omaha, and then I moved to Billings, Montana, and I'd get that pain again once in a while. You know, I'm sure it was just inflammation and acid, but at the time I had no idea. I just knew that alkaline drops helped. So with that, I started trying to eat a little bit more alkaline, you know, avocados and whatnot, and try to eat better, and that seemed to help. But anyway, when I was actually introduced to the water by Wetzel, not only did the pain go away, I mean, literally, I feel like I'm walking on a cloud everywhere I go, but the energy level was amazing. So I guess the difference between those drops and the machine is energy and a certainty that it's doing something really good in there, you know. And what does Dr. Berrios say? A surplus of energy and a hydrated alkaline environment. That's what's happening inside our bodies. So my biggest thing that I had going on when I started drinking the water was this rash that I had for 7 years. I'd been to a lot of dermatologists. One of them did a biopsy. They didn't know. I mean, everyone was putting these creams on me and all kinds of stuff. The one did the biopsy, and he basically called me one day and said, "I'm not sure if you have something that is normal on the skin surface, or this debilitating disease that's going to kill you." I mean, he was like that.
Real reassuring.
Yes.
Oh,
So I started drinking the water, and within a week it was gone. The rash, never to return. So it's just crazy. It's amazing. It's everything. Like Silb said, it's everything.
Water is life. Niwi Choni, man.
Niwi Choni, old
Niwi
soup.
Choni, yeah. That's the war cry from the Dakota Access protest. Water is life. Niwi Choni. That's what they say in Lakota. Water is life.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
We're made of it, man. We're made of it. Why aren't we drinking it? I mean, it blows my mind when people say, "Dude, I just cannot drink water." What the hell is the matter with you? You know? Yeah. It's another thing Dr. Oz says in that video we love is like, if you can't drink water, should you really be eating? You know, I mean, you're getting sick, man. You're throwing stuff down your gullet, getting bound up. You're, you know,
plugged up, as we say. Yeah,
it's ridiculous, man. I mean,
even without commodity cheese.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, you guys, the interesting thing for me in that regard, you know, that you saying that brought, because I love Barry Ah, that video of his is my favorite thing. I call it the 50 most important minutes of your life when I share it out to people. And, you know, but for me, before Kong, I never drank water. The only time I ever drank water was when I was sick. My thought process was, hey, I get all the water I need from Coke and Sprite and Gatorade and power drinks and you know, tequila and, you know, whiskey and Coke and, you know, whatever. That's where I got. I'm
There's
like,
water in those.
Water in it. I get my water. I'm good to go, you know. And I had no freaking clue until Kong came along, and I, you know, watched Daniel Dimacali's presentation, and then all of a sudden I realized that, wow. And so I drink a lot of water now, where I never used to drink water just for the sake of drinking water. And I'm guessing that there's a lot of people like me out there. You know, what would you guys have to say to that person out there?
You know, I guess what I would say is, do you want to be on a bunch of medications and be treated for all these diseases that are going to accumulate from inflammation and acid, or do you want to take the preventative approach and just never have to worry about that stuff? You know, it's like kind of like an example of my life. I've been an RN, an ICU nurse, all kinds of nursing hospital type stuff, and that's not preventative, and it's not what I want to be doing. I want to educate people on how to eliminate the Gatorades, the sodas, the tequila. Well, no, not the tequila, but and Just
You
try
got
to
to
get
have
people
exceptions.
thinking along those lines instead of, oh, well, I'll just wait until I'm sick and then I'll go to the doctor and then I'll get a pill for it, you know.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would, I guess, anybody who thinks along those lines, I mean, first and foremost, you're made out of water, just like I said before. You're 75% water. You know, think about that. It's look at how many people are sick in this country, man. I mean, you see everywhere you go, you can't leave your. You know, I thought I'd see less obese people down here in Arizona, where I thought I was going to see all these healthy people, you know, fun in the sun. Man, it doesn't matter where you go. I was just in Portland. I went and worked a RV show in Portland. I thought, man, you know, there's Portlandia. I would think that, you know, everybody's healthy there. I could not believe how many people were just sick, you know, and they can't even get in and out of these RVs, man. And all you got to do is drink some water and
Freshen up.
Freshen up. People mistake thirst for hunger. I mean, there's studies upon studies upon it. And instead of going and rushing to McDonald's, maybe chug a couple glasses of water, man, and that might turn around a little bit, or you might not supersize it, or you might not go as often. I mean, that's kind of real life what I'm experiencing. I was a drive through the fast food as much as possible guy. I've always drank water, but not to the level. I didn't understand it. You know, I just.
Well, we didn't have that type of water to crush. You know, I mean, I remember being
to drink water when I was a kid, though. We were just talking about it yesterday. Like, you know, thinking about these adults, didn't they have that same experience? I mean, me growing up in the 80s and being a little kid and playing outside all day, and I mean, just cranking up the faucet and just drinking right out of the garden hose, and it tasted amazing. I mean, remember that?
Even before it got cold, you could still drink it, and you didn't even think about it. You know what I mean? And then the older you got, you wanted to let it get colder. You know, and no, but I'm with you. Now I couldn't fathom drinking out of a garden hose because I've become such a water snob. I'm like, I can't. You know, people, they'll bring me water and I'll set it there and I'm like, I don't need any water, please. And they just come automatically sometimes still. You know, I'm like, yeah, you can take that just from and you're only being conscientious. You're only being from like a space standpoint. I want room for my plate and my jug of water and whatever. And, you know, they kind of look at you like, well, are you turning away my water? No, but listen, you said it. Silbs, you said it, and I really want to like kind of emphasize this and share a little nugget on that line. We're 75% water. The earth is 75% water. You know, and when you start to understand that, one of the things that really blew my mind was the fact that we're born 93% water. Our pH is 7.2 to 7.4 in there, from what I understand, ideal. 365, 7.365 is ideal, and we're just fresh. I mean, we're rubbery, we bend, we don't break. Babies are just really resilient in a lot of respects, you know. And then by the time we die of old age or disease, we're under 50% water, and our pH is under 5. So we spend a lifetime losing almost half our water and losing about 500 times the amount of hydrogen in which we were born. And if that foundationally doesn't get the conscientious observer's attention, then there ain't much else they could really say, because obesity is based on dehydration. Arthritis. You could go down the line, all these serious conditions, and seizures, and it's crazy. It's all predicated on acidosis, which is, you know, perpetuated by dehydration. We're not getting the right fluids. So, you know, again, yeah, I just really believe we're onto something here. And you talk about pop. I used to crush pop. Gerald was talking yesterday about the mega pops of 64 ounces with the big lid and the big spongy accordion straw. That was me, man. Going to work up at the group home, I'd get a bag of Funyuns, a king-size candy bar, a bag of jerky, and a Dasani water. Oh, boy, was I sharp, because I was a Coke guy, right? God forbid I drink Aquafina. Yeah, I couldn't stand Pepsi. But I mean, that's a thing. You get into, I was indoctrinated myself, but on a little level. I've always been one kind of want the truth. I'm not one for superficial answers. I want to get underneath the sheets and see what's in there. I don't want to look at the bed sheet, because half the time the bed sheet's what we're seeing on TV all the damn time, and it ain't anywhere near a reflection of what's going on under the sheets. So, I mean, that's always been kind of my, and not even being nasty in my analogy, jeez. But it's just a matter of learning how to uncover whatever I can uncover to be, more empowered, to be more educated, be more mindful, simplify. We're addicted to convenience in this country. And since I've had this machine on my sink the last 10 years, I can't even begin to describe how convenient it is over and above anything I ever used to do. And buying $9 to $12 worth of junk every day on my way to work. Yeah, I bring a gallon, 2 gallons of water if it's the summertime, and I'll bring 3 if I'm working when I, working with people, being around people. It's always fun to bust out a gallon when someone says they're thirsty and their water bottle's empty, even if it's their plastic water, and they're looking at going and buying another one at the softball tournament concession stand. I'm like, give me your bottle, fella. I love being able to do that. So, the mission, it just sounds like that's exactly where you guys are. And no, I'm just really excited. And again, whatever I can be, I've given you guys my flash drive and stuff, right? I mean, I want to arm you with everything that I have to be able to do this, and, be able to do stuff like this, even with your prospects. If that's ever something you want to do, maybe we could tag team them, Superfly Stuka and Junkyard Dog style.
I'll be Snuka.
Yeah, okay, I'll be Junkyard Dog. They don't make them like those cats anymore, do they?
You can be the junkyard dog, and I'll be the gorilla.
Yeah, you're Magilla Gorilla.
So, guys, I love to ask a question of all of our guests that come on this show with us. That it's interesting, the different responses that we get to this question. But and perhaps you've already answered it, but maybe you have something else that you would say if you were in this position. The question is, you've got somebody who's a potential prospect, or a potential suspect, as sometimes we like to call them, and you get one thing to say to them. What do you say?
Wow.
You're talking the ultimate close then, right, JJ? Is that what you mean?
Whatever what I think comes out of this is what is ultimately what's the most important thing, that, you've only got this one shot. So, what do you bust out?
I would say I have this machine that produces the best water in the entire world. And at some point, like I said early on, that every household in America is going to have this machine on it. Do you want to get yours now or later?
How about you, Alexis? What comes to your mind when you have that one shot?
Gosh, I don't know. There's so much information, but this is a really good question. I like this, and I have to think about it. But I would say, do you want to change your life? Do you want to get healthy and wealthy, or do you like where you're at? I mean, oh my gosh. The other thing that comes to mind is we just made this big banner, and I've been trying to think of how to describe the water to people in one little line, basically. And I like the fact that it's small water, and I mean, but I wanted to say something where somebody's going to ask a question. So what I put on the banner was, our tiny water does great big things. So I don't want people to think about small water doing great big things. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Gets that question going. What is small water? Well, it's microclustering. This is why you don't get sloshy gut. This is why you get the energy. This is, it's science, man. And it's replicating the best water in the world, man. And, you know, the people who live around the Himalayan mountains and drink that water, it's like it's nobody's biz. They just live to 120, 130. They're working the crops at 100 years old. I mean, that's commonplace. And, we're supposedly so intelligent here, and you know, we're geniuses and all the great minds and the Steve Jobs and all these, you know, Bill Gates, all these guys, but we're still sick as a dog, man. I mean, just think of how much better we could be if everybody was drinking this water. When it has to be commonplace that everybody's drinking this water. It would be beautiful in our lifetimes to see these machines in hospitals. You know, I mean, if it's a recognized medical device in Japan, why don't we get on board with it? It changes people's lives, you know, and we know all the answers to these questions that I'm
right.
You know, it's
money.
Yeah. Let's just
FDA. Yeah. And that's it. That's the thing. You know, it's funny. Listen, brother, you're beautiful, and I don't even think you meant to. And with all due respect, I'm going to be really clear, and it's unfortunate because one of these guys is gone, but understand the two guys you just mentioned there, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. One of them's gone, and one of them's healthier than a horse. One of them had no Kangen machines. The other has 16 Kangen machines in his possession. It's pretty clear to see what's going on, and both those brothers are about the same age. You know what I mean? There's not much, but maybe a couple 3-year difference. But you can spend a lifetime trying to accumulate wealth, and then at the end of that, you cannot catch up with your health if you're not paying attention to it. And I think that's a perfect example of all the money in the world can't buy your health, but good discerning decisions based on factual information that's been around longer than either one of us have. I think that's kind of the end all be all of what we're doing. It's just really trying to enlighten and awaken people to the power and proficiency of this water.
Yeah. Amen. You know, something I'd really like to, I always, one of the reasons I created this platform was I felt like it would be a really good way to expose people, not only to the facts of the matter, but also a good way to expose people to other stories, other opinions, other thought processes. And for me, when I sat and watched my buddy Tim McGaffin post about this water for about 6 months on Facebook, and I just laughed about it. I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. I never said anything. I'd give him likes on his posts and move on. I'd never read anything. I'd never hit the see more button, nothing. And I just laughed at it for about 6 months. And then one day, the faithful story that changed my life came across. A gal named Brittany Dyke. She told her story. And that story, all of a sudden, my brain cell, the light in my brain cell turned on, and I clicked that see more button. And at the end of reading her story, I immediately called Tim and said, dude, next time you're up here in Salt Lake, bring me some information about this Kong's water. And so he ended up doing that, and that ended up changing my life. But what the point of it is that it was a story that changed my life. It was an individual and a story that resonated with me that changed my life. And we never know what story and who people are going to resonate with. And so one of the things that we like to do here is give everybody the opportunity, because, you know, somebody, I always say this, somebody, they might not want to deal with me. They might not want to deal with Sean for whatever the reasons might be. But you guys seeing those cactuses behind you and that kind of stuff, they might be like, man, I want to go meet those guys down in Arizona, you know. And so what I like to give you guys an opportunity to do is, you know, what kind of information do you want to give to people? Because this is getting recorded. It's going to go out on YouTube. You guys are going to get a copy of it that you can share out to people as much as you want. And we're going to be sharing out. It's going to go all over the interweb and that kind of thing. And you guys might be the ones that somebody resonates with, and they might want to deal with you. But if we don't give you a chance to give all your information out, then how are they going to hook up with you if you're the one that they want to hook up with? And so if you guys wouldn't mind, or if you want to, it's completely up to you. But if you'd like to, give your information out to people. How do people get a hold of you? What what do you got going on that they can work with you on, or whatever you would like to share about yourselves, so that people who are resonating with you as they watch this, that they can actually hook up with you and work with you and, you know, be part of your Kong family.
Well, we just got our first business cards in the mail yesterday. If you wouldn't mind, Lex, while I'm talking, my business card's right there. I'd like to show that, like you showed your Kong one.
Nice.
But that being said, I'm on Facebook, Silbs Silbernagel. I can be reached at 406-672-2363. SilbsDiesel@gmail.com.
Nice.
Let me see.
Go to your, oh, beautiful. No, you had it. Get it back up there. That's cool. Yeah, keep going higher.
It's actually 3D.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's right.
No, I can dig that.
Website.
What's that?
It's right from the Enagic website. That's where we got these
Nice.
cards.
Wonderful.
Hers is more feminine and beautiful, like her.
Amen. Amen. Nice.
So pause that on your YouTube channel and take that info down. You know, I just want to share that I love people. This machine, this water, has just added an incredible high level of quality to my life, and it's making me a better person, man. It really is, and it's making me want to develop.
Nice.
Nice. Love it.
Dude, wait, get it back on there.
Get him back on there. What's that?
Yeah, there you go. Keep talking, Silbs. You had it.
So, I love people, and I'm a Lakota, and that word Lakota means an alliance of friends, and I'm just constantly trying to build my alliance, man. And you know, I want to help all people. My mind's evolving from wanting to be a naysayer and you know, go with the masses, and it's like, it seems like everybody just wants to talk about what's on the squawk box, what's on you know, talking smack on one another. I mean, that is so simple. This water will open up your mind, man. And you'll be wanting to talk about things like, what can we make this water do? You know, this is the ailment that I have. Be frank about it. This is the ailment I have. I'd like to fix that. Does this water fix it? 9.999 times out of 10, yes, this water fixes it. You know, all the different uses for the 11.5, all the different, you know, it's like, I mean, I tout myself as being strong and you know, tough from the foundation. You know, people talk about, oh, it's messing with my gut. Well, I bet you Taco Bell at 3 in the morning is messing with your gut too. You know, drink this water. Just start out with 9.5, man. And you know, okay, so maybe you might deal with a little bit of bubbled guts, whatever. But in the long run, you're flushing it out.
It's temporary.
It's very temporary, and the benefits creep in super quick, and it's everything. You know, I mean, I can't say that I constantly drink 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons every day, but I tell you what, when I drink like half a gallon or less in a day's time, it's
you notice
very
it.
impactful, very impactful.
Yep.
So you know, as of late, we're just hammering it. The last you know, we've been down here about 90 days, maybe a little more, and we've been just chugging water. We have it hooked up in our RV, and we're mobile, baby. We're just like you said. You know, we need to get one of these banners or get some kind of stickers put up on the side of this and advertising the water, because we're full-fledged, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I'd like to really quickly interject kind of on the disclaimer side of things, so that Enagic doesn't get pissed off at us, is that, you know, the water doesn't fix anything.
Right.
What fixes something is this thing right here. This thing is the most incredible machine that's on the planet. God gave us this machine that runs on 120 millivolts of electricity and hydrogen. And what Kong's water does is it gives the body that electricity and that hydrogen. And that is what makes it so that the body, the machine, the human machine, can fix itself. It's a machine just like a car or a truck. The only difference is it's designed to fix itself. It doesn't need a mechanic. It just needs the proper fuel and the proper voltage. and this little rascal will fix itself. And you know, so you give your machine what it needs to run properly, and amazingly enough, that's exactly what it does, isn't it? That's what your machine did. It fixed itself,
well,
man.
And Silbs knows that I was 5'4" and uglier than hell when I started drinking it. Now he sees me at 6'8", and he sees me at 6'8", and he just sees me at 6'8". I'm not any better looking, but I'm taller, and at least I got that going for me. Hey, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for jumping on board. Again, I'm excited as heck to be partnered up with you guys. And again, I want to be here in any capacity I can for you from a resource standpoint, whether it's print, video, whatever. I just want to continue to have whatever dialogue's possible for me to grease your zerts at whatever level I can from up here. I'm really thankful for you guys. I'm excited. And like I said, I've kind of got this little vicarious thing I'm kind of living through you guys. I love your lifestyle. I love the direction you've chosen to really get after it, that 30-day goal, beginning of May goal. And then if there's anybody out there that can get after it and do that, I know it's you, man, because again, you've been successful in anything you've ever done, you know, and it's just neat to have you on board and have a guy like you and a gal like you to partner up with and really do what we can to change lives and help change that and get these on every counter in the country and the world for that matter. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for coming and joining us and showing off your background. That is, wouldn't you say, JJ, that is indeed the coolest background that we've had in our Kong show in the last couple months?
I would say so. Yeah. It's
when I heard Fido barking around, was it maybe my cartoon-like assumption that when he started yelping around, he actually walked into a cactus accidentally and caught one in the oozy cheeks, or was that what happened? Or
it was actually the Wile E. Coyote was chasing the Roadrunner through the air, and he was out on their tail. That's what it was.
Oh, you guys are great. You
So,
guys are great.
guys, I'm gonna, as soon as we get done with this, I'm gonna look you guys up on Facebook and send you a friend request, and hopefully you will get that thing approved. And that way, when the video is finished publishing up onto YouTube, that I can share it out and tag you in the post, and then that way you'll get it, and you'll be able to you know, utilize it however you would like. You know, of course, we love to. You know, our goal is to change the world. And so the best way to do that is by sharing information. And so this is going to be available for you guys to share. And, you know, I just really am so appreciative of you taking your time to jump on here with us and share your magic and share your knowledge and your wisdom. And, you know, that's what it's all about. You know? The Kong family is going to accomplish that simple, easy, no problem goal. We're going to change the world.
One glass of
Cheers.
9.5 at a time.
Thank
Hey,
Yes, we are.
hey, giddy up. Hey, yeah, let's stay in touch. And for the record, guys, Kong's family, the Kong family is a page that all these interviews go on. We've had Sam Tran, we had Jerry Kostecki yesterday. We've had some real good interviews on there, and at the very least, they usually range from 30 to 45 minutes. You know, we've been rocking it for a good hour, and again, that's fantastic. But when you have different stuff, you know, if you want to listen, you want to learn, there's a lot of different videos on there. So go ahead, feel free to like the page. Yeah, we'll get you two kids connected with this Yahoo right here, JJ Salt of the Earth. We're not even in the same organization. We just met through another outfit that we were trying to work on some personal development, attraction marketing stuff, and of which you guys are familiar. And we've been like peanut butter and chocolate since, with a little bananas and nuts involved. That's for damn sure. But yeah, you guys are money. Go work on that tan today. Hey, and dude, I saw you turn a little bit. You're going long hair on me? Or are you going back old school? I thought I saw a ponytail behind that Kangol.
I got the
Hey, this guy was buttoned up, suit wearing, clean as a whistle. now he looks like he's about ready to go play, you know, on a set with Carlos and Jorge Santana somewhere down there because, yeah, that's my man right there. Hey, you guys are beautiful. Do your thing. Let's stay in touch. Whatever I can do to be there for you and help you in any capacity, let me. And JJ is now another resource for you. So let's just stay in touch and continue to make things happen.
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
Don't forget your hugs, kids. HoooDeeeHoooooo. Looks like they locked up.
I think they froze up. Yeah, no
Locked
worries.
up.
Okay, hey, good show. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks.
Yeah, I had a great time. Those guys are awesome. I'm so excited to see them get loose, man. I want to really, I want to send them some stuff McGaffin sent me on that whole Ukon thing that I just never really understood. Yeah, I've had Ukon for 4 years and I've not made one sale under my Ukon. Duh. You know, and it's like now at a 3A by itself, you know, I'm like, good Lord. So, yeah, that said, great show. Wrap this thing up for us, bud, and let's get this out delivered here sometime in the next hour or so. You're kind enough and gracious enough and obviously proficient enough to be able to do all this. So just as your colleague and cohort and, you know, teammate on this, I really appreciate how you drive this bus, man. I really do. And I'm just looking forward to more moving down the road with more guests and just continuing our mission. It's a good one. I see some good things happening from it.
We're going to keep looking for those guests. We want guests, you know, any of you people out there that are watching this, you want to come on here and share your story and get an opportunity to share your information and get people that potentially want to lock up with you, lock arms, and help you accomplish the goal. We're going to change the world, buddy. So that's what we're doing, man. You guys have a great day. To everybody that's watching, we love you. Thank you very much for taking your time to be here. And God bless and have a great day.
That's it.
HoooDeeeHoooooo!
HoooDeeeHoooooo, doggy.